Malik was a boy with quiet eyes, living with his mother, Nia, in a small, tired apartment in Eastbridge. Their world was simple: the smell of Nia's hair after work, burnt toast, and Malik's superhero drawings on old newspapers. Nia worked 2 jobs, cleaning offices by day, washing dishes by night, her hands rough, her promises soft. The apartment was always cold, the heating never worked. In winter they wore sweaters inside and boiled water for steam. Malik pretended he was a dragon, his breath making clouds in the air. Nia wrapped him in a blanket, her arms a warm island against the cold. Malik's shoes were blue, faded and thin-soled, but he loved them. They carried him through Eastbridge, every scuff a part of his story. The shoes knew the way home even when Malik felt lost. They were his running shoes, his walking-to-school shoes, his hope. In a world that often felt too big and too hard, Malik and his mother held on to each other. Their love was small, but it was everything. In Eastbridge, sometimes love was all you had. Eastbridge had its own music. The wail of sirens, the rumble of trains, the shouts from the street. Malik learned to sleep through it, folding the noise into his dreams. The air always smelled of something burning, clinging to curtains and clothes. Nia lit vanilla candles, fighting the world's scent for a moment of sweetness. The neighborhood was full of ghosts, closed stores, broken swings, a library open only 2 days a week. People walked with their heads down, tired and quiet, but still here. Malik saw the sadness in his neighbors' faces, but also small sparks of kindness. A nod, a shared look at the bus stop. The struggle was everywhere, but so was resilience. Even in the grayness there were moments of light. Eastbridge was a place of tired hope, where people held on. The music of the city was rough, but it was theirs. Malik listened and learned to find the beauty in the noise. Sometimes, that was enough. One morning, Malik's blue shoes were gone. He searched everywhere, but they had vanished. With Nia at work, he slipped on his mother's pink, fluffy slippers. Too big, too bright. He shuffled to school, hoping no one would notice. But the other kids did. They laughed, pointed, and Malik's face burned with shame. He tried to hide his feet under his desk, but the feeling of being different clung to him all day. At recess, he stood by the wall, unable to run or play. The world felt sharp and cold. Walking home, the slippers grew dirtier, a hole letting the pavement bite his sock. Malik wondered where his blue shoes were, hoping someone was taking care of them. At home, he hid the slippers deep in the closet. That day, Malik felt smaller than ever. The loss of his shoes was more than just missing sneakers. It was losing a piece of himself. In Eastbridge, even small losses could feel enormous. Malik learned to walk quietly, hoping not to be seen, but the world always noticed, and it never forgot to remind you. Eastbridge used to have open doors, a community center, after-school programs, a nurse at school, a counselor to talk to. But funding was cut, doors locked, and help faded away. Now, kids wandered the streets after school, teachers stretched thin, and supply closets sat empty. Nia tried to get help, waiting in long lines, filling out endless forms, but the answers never came. The neighborhood shrank as services disappeared. Bus routes changed, clinics closed, isolation grew. People learned to rely only on themselves, asking for help less and less. Each closed door made life harder, the world outside Eastbridge even farther away. The silence of lost support was heavy. Malik and Nia felt it every day. The community's safety net had holes too big to mend. In Eastbridge, survival meant learning to expect less, but hope lingered, stubborn and quiet. Even as doors closed, people found ways to hold on. The struggle was real, but so was the will to endure. In the end, it was the people who kept each other going. The fire started late at night, smoke thick and angry, danger in the air. Nia woke first, grabbing Malik as black smoke filled the hallway. They tried to escape, but the smoke was a monster, pushing them back. Sirens wailed, not just noise but a cry for help. Nia held Malik close, shielding him as the fire roared. The building groaned, glass popped, flames climbed higher. Firefighters came, but the fire was too strong, too fast. Neighbors watched from the street, helpless and grieving. When the fire was out, the building was a black skeleton against the dawn. Malik and Nia were found together, her arms wrapped around him, a final act of love. Their story ended in smoke and silence. The quiet boy and his tired mother gone. Eastbridge mourned, the sirens faded, but the loss echoed. Sometimes the world only listens when it's too late, and sometimes love is all that remains. The next day, Malik's blue shoes were found in a trash can. A neighbor recognized them and tied them to the school's iron gate. The shoes hung there, small and lonely, a silent question in the wind. Children saw them and remembered Malik, the day he wore pink slippers, the laughter that now felt heavy. Maria, a classmate, tied her teddy bear to the gate beside the shoes. Others followed, a toy car, a superhero drawing, wildflowers. The gate became a shrine, a place for grief and remembrance. People stopped, touched the cold iron, and left small tokens. The shoes told Malik's story, a boy who loved to run, a community that lost one of its own. They were symbols of loss, poverty, and neglect, but also of love. The gate became a promise, Malik would not be forgotten. Eastbridge mourned together, finding unity in sorrow. The shoes at the gate were a quiet protest against silence. They whispered, "We remember," and in that remembering, there was hope. For a few days, Eastbridge was seen. News vans arrived, reporters told Malik's story, and the city paid attention. Donations poured in, clothes, food, smoke detectors. For a moment, it felt like things might change. The attention was a warm light, making the community feel less alone. But soon the cameras left, the donations stopped, and the world moved on. The burned building remained, the problems unchanged. The silence returned, heavier than before. Malik's story became old news, just another tragedy. Eastbridge was left with its grief and the shoes at the gate. The memory of being seen lingered, bittersweet. The world's attention is fleeting, but the struggle endures. In the end, Eastbridge learned to rely on itself again. The shoes at the gate stayed, even when the cameras were gone. On the anniversary of the fire, the shoes at the gate remained, faded, small, but still there. Maria brought a new pair of bright red shoes, tying them next to Malik's. It became a tradition. Every year, children brought shoes, covering the gate in a rainbow of laces. Each pair was a promise, to remember Malik, to look out for each other. The gate became a monument, a history of the neighborhood's children. The ritual taught the young, every person matters, and community is built on care. Malik's memory lived on in every shoe, every story told. He was no longer just a sad headline. He was part of Eastbridge. The shoes reminded everyone to be kind, to notice, to help. Malik's story became a steady flame, refusing to go out. The community found strength in remembrance. The ritual was hope, tied in laces. In Eastbridge, Malik's spirit walked with every child. The shoes at the gate were a promise. We will not forget, and we will take care of our own. There are many stories like Malik's. Quiet boys, tired mothers, broken heaters, locked doors. Most go untold, lost in the noise of the world. People become invisible, their struggles seen as normal, not tragedy. Malik's story was noticed only after the fire, when it was too late. The shoes at the gate are a tribute, but also a reminder. We often see the problem only when it's too late. What if we noticed the worn-out shoes before they were empty? What if we listened to the quiet stories before they became tragedies? Remembrance is important, but not enough. We must listen, see, and act before loss becomes inevitable. Malik's story asks us to pay attention, to open our eyes and hearts, to make sure no other child's story is told by empty shoes on a gate. The lesson is simple: notice, care, and act. In Eastbridge and everywhere, every story matters. Let Malik's memory be a call to see the unseen, and to help before it's too late.